Hi, my name is Pam. Welcome to Brush and Needle Northwest and my cozy corner of the Northwest and the internet. This is my first podcast. I am doing this at the encouragement of my family and to record my yarny and my painting adventures. I hope you'll come along with me and join me for some creativity, inspiration, some fun, and some coziness. I've been knitting and crocheting for over 50 years. My mom taught me how to knit when I was a very young girl, and her mom, my grandmother, taught me how to crochet. Granny squares, a full circle moment we're having as in their popularity, and I love them as much now as I did when I first learned. I have been painting for 35 plus years. I have been a decorative painting teacher. I've paint any chance I can, and whenever the inspiration hits, my husband's known to say that if he stays still too long, I may paint him too. So hopefully you'll come along and we'll have some fun together. So let's start with what I'm wearing. This is the Nightshift by Andrea Mowry. So squishy. I knit it on 4.5 millimeter US 7 needles using Malabrigo Rios yarn. The pattern was great. It was a very fun knit. I will include all this information and also where you can go and purchase the pattern if you're interested in the description box below. The colors that I use, the colorways I used for this are blue jeans, magenta, Anniversario, lettuce, teal feathers, and Syrah grapes. It's probably my most worn knit of all that I've done. It has so many colors and it goes with so many things. And here in the Northwest at this time of the year, it's cold. And so this is wonderful to just wrap around your neck and keeps you nice and cozy. My goal this year is to, for both yarn and my painting, is to finish a lot of my works in progress, as well as use from my yarn stash and my wood stash and my paint stash. So what's on my needles right now is a Ranunculus sweater. I am at the point of starting the bottom ribbing. I am knitting this on 5.5 millimeter number 9 circular needles. It's called the Ranunculus sweater by Midori Hirose. I am knitting it with Little Wing Fibers, which is an independent small yarn dyer here in the Northwest. And this yarn is so yummy. It feels so good to knit with. It is so soft. I wish I could share that feeling with all of you. But I'm holding two together, her fingering weight, which the colorway is in the band, and Cumulous Suri in the colorway Diamond. The Ranunculus is a top-down sweater and has the lace work and pattern work on the top, and then it is just straight knit down. I elected to do the small neck, and I'm going to do long sleeves. So hopefully this weekend I will be able to get the waistband done and I'll be on to the sleeves. And I will show you as hopefully next time I podcast it will be finished. Also, again, all of the information will be in the description box below as to where you can find the pattern and or the yarn. The next item on my needles is called the Anthology Throw. It is housed in this basket, beautiful basket that my husband gave me for Christmas. I absolutely love I like using bags, but baskets I think are my favorite. It's a circular Afghan. I will put a picture up in the corner here. It's kind of hard to show while it's on the needles because it doesn't lay flat. The yarn that I'm using is my 2025 Yarn Advent from CamiJo Knits. She's a Danish dyer, and her inspiration this year was Little Women. I love Little Women. This was my original book from when I was a young girl, and I've read it many, many times, as you can tell by the condition of this book, but we also watch it at Christmas, and I've been known to watch it other times. I like all of the different renditions, but I think the one with Susan Sarandon is my favorite, but I watched the newest one this year and it was in chronological and order, and I enjoyed it as well. These are the 20-gram minis, and each one of them is knit into a band on the Afghan. The Anthology Throw is by Helen Stewart. It's a wonderful pattern. This is my first time knitting it, but it was on my to knit list for a long time. I don't know if any of you have knit from Helen's patterns, but she writes each line out, and it's so satisfying to be able to just check something off as you go row by row by row. In addition, she provides a lot of stitch counts so you can keep track of where you are easily. So as I mentioned, the yarn was the 2025 Advent by CamiJo Knits, and she has a little cashmere in that yarn. So another yummy yarn to knit with. I'm knitting it on 4.25 millimeter needles, or US 6, and we'll keep track of how far I get on this. I've been trying to knit a 20-gram mini a week on it, and some weeks I do better and some weeks I don't. The next thing on my needles is a pair of socks. I almost always have socks on my needles. They make great gifts. My family loves them. My extended family love them. Friends love them. And they're an easy thing to take on the go. So if I'm waiting, or if I'm, just out somewhere, or I'm a passenger princess, it's a great thing to have with. These socks, you'll hear the good, the bad, and the ugly, which I promise you I will always share the whole story behind these knits, because I struggle sometimes with different things, and this happened to be one of them. Nothing to do with the person who wrote the pattern. It had 100% to do with me. These socks are called Mug of Hot Cocoa socks, and this is where I am right now. I will put a picture up here so you will be able to see what the entire pattern looks like, as well as I will show them as I progress. It is by Charlotte Stone of Stone Knits. It's beautifully written. I am knitting them on a 2.25 millimeter and a number 1 US circular, as well as a 2.75 millimeter and a number 2 circular. And that is where the issue kind of began. I've knit color work before on socks, but for whatever reason, I pulled it way too tight, did not have my floats long enough. So I went to knit one sock and went to put it on, and no way was it going on. So I had to undo the whole thing, or frog it, as we say in the knitting world, and redo it. So that's what I'm doing now. And instead of going up just a half of size needle for this, I'm going to go up 2 sizes one full size to a number 2, and we'll see how that works. But I've come up with a lot of different things that I have tried to make sure that it was wide enough to go over my foot, and but still not look saggy and baggy. I'm knitting it with Berroco Vintage Sock, and it's basically brown, green, red, and white, and they're all numbers. So again, I will put that information in the description box below. And right now I have it housed in this beautiful bag, which was from Adore Knit for the pigskin party, which is hosted on the internet every year. And it is almost done. It's the last day is the Super Bowl party, or Super Bowl day, and then we have to have everything turned in for prizes, etc. So it's a lot of fun, and I will probably do it again next year, so I will definitely put that information in the description box as well, so you can look for that. One of my goals for doing this podcast is also to pass along some information that I've gleaned over the years that have helped me when I get stuck in a pattern or stuck knitting somewhere. The internet is great. Didn't have that when I was young, so that's a great place to look. But When I was first starting, someone had told me, make sure you need to learn to read your knitting and read your crocheting. And what that means is to know what a knit stitch looks like, what a purl stitch looks like, etc. So one of the things that I am going to do is on my Instagram, which is Brush and Needle NW, I am going to post some reels and some shorts on how to do just that. So you can recognize when a stitch is on the needle properly, what kind of stitch decreases, etc., etc. So hopefully we'll have some fun doing that, and hopefully it will help newer knitters to be able to recognize and look at your knitting a little bit differently. As I mentioned earlier, one of my goals for both my knitting and crocheting and for painting this year is to finish projects and use a lot of the things that I already have, whether it be yarn or wood. In the painting world, they're called UFOs, or unfinished objects, and I have plenty. So on my painting table right now that I'm finishing is this crumb box. It's designed by Kathy Chambers, painted by me. As you can see, it has an Americana fruit design on it, but it is painted in the Russian Zastova or Justova style. And as you can see, I need to finish the inside, and I have a little bit of work to do on the strokes. This is pretty much done, and then of course I am going to need to varnish, and which somehow I managed to do all the painting and then have a stack of varnishing. So, and then this will go into my dining room. The next item on my painting table is this stool. This is going to be painted in the Swedish Dalarna style, and I just basically have it base coated and just started washing in some of the color here. So I hope you'll follow along, like and subscribe, and watch as I go forward with this. And I probably on my Instagram and maybe here will put some video of me actually doing some of this painting. Last but not least on my painting table is this little Santa, and I have several. I'm planning to paint one for my children and my nieces and nephews for Christmas this next year. I picked these up, I believe at Michael's probably 2 years ago, and they're just a bisque. And so I'm planning to paint each one differently. I think I'm going to be putting some stroke work on the back, and I will do a video of this when I do it. Ornaments for me are very similar to having socks on my needles. Ornaments on my table. It's easy to just pop down to my studio and paint for just a little bit on ornament. They're quick projects and are so useful for gifts. My children are grown and gone, but they have their own homes and very, very naked Christmas trees. And so they really love it when I stuff their stockings with ornaments. And I especially like to do the hand-painted ornaments from them, although I've knit and crochet some for them as well. Thank you for being here today. I am so glad you're here. I hope that you found something that you enjoy. If you would like to join along and follow along, please like and subscribe. And until I see you again, stay cozy and crafty. Bye-bye.